Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, Michael.
Everybody that's here, can I introduce Michael to everyone?
Yes. Yeah. How about
We are live on YouTube.
could we postpone that, Sheila? Just if I could call the meeting to order, and then as I get into the agenda, we can certainly introduce those guests. So let's call the meeting to order at 10 a.m. Committee, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Sheila, we want to thank everyone that is present today. Michael, you and I have had the pleasure of getting together in the past, and I'll let Sheila formally introduce you.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody, this is Michael Solomon. I hope I pronounced that correctly, from the Guardian Glencoe Pharmacy. And he's interested in meeting everyone today. And he wants to have a discussion about a loyalty program moving forward in the Glencoe community, basically, but maybe further than that. So I'm hoping that he can stick with us for this meeting. And if there's at any point that you have to leave and you want to a bit of a chat ahead, then just let us know. I think it would be okay if he interrupted just to say if he had to leave. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheila. First of all, thank you for the invitation. It's glad to meet everyone. I have to apologize if I had to leave. I'm in the pharmacy obviously today, so if I had to leave, I would just ask you for an excuse to leave because I have a lot of work.
Okay.
But I'll try to stick as long as I can.
Okay. Michael, I think
go Alan. Thank you.
I think the chair can accommodate you, Michael. There's always a process of agenda. So the agenda approval is before us. And what I'll do, I'll put you right at the start. Okay. So if you give me about 20 seconds, I think we can get you on the floor. How's that? The agenda has been circulated. Are there any additions to the agenda? I would like to add that Michael Solomon from the pharmacy, Glencoe Pharmacy, introduce a subject entitled Loyalty Program, if that can be an addition to the agenda, Kendra. And committee, with that addition of Michael's subject, may I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended? Can someone raise their hand? Thank you. Rick, Cal, is there a seconder? Okay, thank you, Michael. All in favor?
I think the seconder has to be a member of the committee.
Yeah, I agree, but there's quite a delay in that. It's going to be a long meeting, committee, if we don't put our hands. Councillor Cal, I'll take your meeting. There was quite a momentary pause when the chair asked for someone to raise their hand. Moved by Rick, seconded by Krista. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. The meeting goes much smoother, committee, if we get those hands up. Michael, thank you very much for your attendance here. Again, you and I have networked before. We've had tours of the region, and I'm very interested in what you have to bring to us today. So you have the floor, and make yourself at home.
Thank you, Al. I'll quickly brief what I was looking for, if you don't mind. So I was thinking, since COVID is probably going to stay a little bit with us, but I think it's a good opportunity to go back to, or try to go back to normal. And I was thinking, and we tried this on a store level to help loyalty within the store. Bringing more customers, bringing traffic, eventually bringing more people to the town to help businesses overall and to help the community eventually. So I was thinking of some sort of a project or a program. I would probably call it loyalty program or a cross loyalty program between different businesses, whether in town or maybe in other businesses in Newberry, Wardsville. they want to contribute into some sort of a program between different businesses. So my idea was to help bringing customers back to the business. If we can share or have a sort of an agreement between the two businesses or the three businesses or the four businesses that are interested, kind of have a coupon kind of thing, or a reward kind of thing. If you shop at, Glencoe Pharmacy, some sort of a coupon would print out that you can use that coupon when you shop at another business as well. The opposite, it's a two-way kind of loyalty program between the agreed businesses if they are okay with that. And it's something that definitely we can discuss and we can agree on. Each business would have some sort of, you can spend, $50, for instance, and get a $5 off. Or you can shop here and you have like a week to spend that much of a money and you get 10% discount. That way, we tried it on a store level here when I first took place in the pharmacy, and believe it or not, it helped bringing customers back. I would say 40 to 50%. They came back to the pharmacy to shop back again. It brought people out of town. So I've seen people coming out of town. Some people, believe it or not, were coming from Strathroy to Glencoe to shop at the pharmacy. I thought that would be a good idea if we have that cross loyalty between different businesses as well. I think it's going to be of a mutual business between the two, whatever businesses they're going to agree on. That was my idea. I think it's a good opportunity now. Everything is open, less restrictions, I would say so. Glencoe community, I think it's growing up very fast. We're seeing more people actually coming in from London area and all that kind of stuff. So the community is growing up. I think it's a good idea. I'm not too sure if anyone else would agree with me, but I think it's a good opportunity to open up and grow up a little bit within the community, helping development and people coming in and migrating from other areas to Glencoe, and maybe wider than that too.
Thank you, Michael. Michael, I think there's an old saying, there's strength in numbers. And I think that if there is some type of cooperation within Southwest Middlesex, and possibly if we even say not within Southwest Middlesex, but within our market area, so to speak, so that it does, I think you may have alluded, we don't like to mention names, but Newberry was mentioned because it has a very strong hardware. And if they're in the mix, it certainly provides an attraction and increases the volume of any type of promotional or marketing material. I would be interested, I think the question is, how can this committee facilitate you in fulfilling that vision? And we may not be able to dot all the I's today, but with Sheila and Kara here, perhaps they could take that concept back and assist us in some manner. But I'll certainly open up the floor to comments or questions. And Sheila, Kara, certainly feel welcome to join in. The chair will watch your hands, and we'll start with Rick Cal.
I think this is a wonderful idea, Alan, but I'm not sure that it will work as well as it should without assistance from the CCC. I think that they would work better in tandem than apart. I think that there's enough business people involved with the CCC and with our Wardsville and other places that I think that putting them all together will make it even stronger.
A good idea. It's almost a given that anything in terms of business promotion, Michael, eventually finds its way to the CCC. It's it's one of my favorite committees in the area. What's special about it? It's comprised of all sectors, business, volunteer, agriculture, social services. So we've got a real mix of experienced people around the horseshoe that it would be extremely beneficial to do that. And Michael, I can take you by the hand. Those meetings are monthly. They start at 6:30. Some night after you close up, we could maybe join a meeting, and you'd enjoy that, and we could introduce it there. Very often, because Michael has come to the Economic Development Committee, I would like us to, try to send him away with some concrete suggestions. Any other questions? Any other comments? Sheila, could you get engaged in this as our Economic Development Officer? What do you think of this? Or what do you envision this to become?
Just wanted to note that Kara's provided some good resources on the chat of different programs that already exist, and maybe she'd like to mention a little bit more about them.
Okay, I see it now. The chair hasn't had the opportunity to see that, but Kara, if you're still with us, please go ahead. Yep.
I am here. Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of comments. I've given you 2 examples of other programs just to kind of give you an idea of things that have been tried or have worked in the past. Both are out of the Strathroy area. One is with respect to the member discount type program that Michael is referencing. That's something that the Strathroy District Chamber of Commerce has done for quite a number of years and may be easily replicated in Southwest Middlesex. So I've given you that example and a link to that. The other is Dixon Dollars, or Downtown Bucks, as they used to call them. That's a program that's done every year by the Strathroy BIA. And the businesses offer a discount for the purchase of gift certificates in advance. So that is a little bit of a different program, but means that cash registers ring right off the bat, and people actually purchase and put their dollars into the system in advance. So both might be examples of things that you could take a look at. And if you need any assistance, I'm happy to discuss.
That's good. Yes. Kara, that's good. Michael, Kara is the Economic Development Officer for the County of Middlesex, and of course she has all the municipalities under her umbrella, and we use Kara regularly, if not daily, in our pursuit of economic excellence. So we'll certainly follow that up as well, and I'll make sure that you get the contacts for that.
Thank you all. Yeah, I think it's a good idea whether we cooperate between businesses in a way or other. I'm pretty sure other business owners would be interested in some sort of loyalty or cross loyalty. Let me put it that way. I think it's a good idea, and I think it's the time to execute something like that. Pretty sure we can agree on a form of executing this, and I would definitely need everybody's help and support to guide me through this. And I really appreciate you having me today, actually.
Okay. Well, I think what we'll do, we'll certainly, you have the contact information that's been provided by Kara, and follow that up, Michael. In addition, I'll make sure that you get advance notice of perhaps running this by the CCC as well. I think it would be better coming from you than coming from myself or Rick. If you could be there, I think it would be more meaningful. And I'll certainly, I'm in your store regularly, and we'll make sure that you're apprised of that. Before Michael goes, committee, is there any other comments anyone would like to make to him? Yes, Rick, go ahead.
Maybe those links could be sent direct to the CCC committee. Then the chair could maybe send them out to the members so that we have some advanced ideas about how we might be able to do it, instead of it just coming to the meeting. We already know about it. We already have some information. It would be nice to send it forward and give us a chance to look at it ahead.
All right. Yes, Kara, if you could send that to Kendra, and she'll make sure that it's distributed to the committee. Okay, well, Michael, I want to thank you very much for your presence here, and we'll let you get back to work. But in addition to that, we want to welcome you to Southwest Middlesex. We're extremely pleased you're on our main street, and we can certainly see differences in your store when we go in. It's well merchandised, and we appreciate your engagement with customers. I know you come right out behind that pharmacy and chat with people, and I think that's a great attribute to any business. So we welcome you.
Thank you, Sheila, for your invitation. Thanks, everybody, and looking forward to working together.
Okay, you take care.
You take care. Bye. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheila, for arranging Michael, and thank you, committee, for allowing him to get in the front spot there. Kara, thank you for your patience in waiting. So you certainly can give us the Middlesex County Economic Development update at your leisure when you're ready.
Okay, thank you very much. I may need hosting so that I can pull up the presentation. Is that possible? Here we go. Perfect. Just want to make sure everybody can see my screen now.
There's no, there it is. We got it now. Kara, you're good.
Perfect. Great. So I'll try and be as brief as I can, but I'm pleased to be here today to deliver an economic update for Southwest Middlesex. And to the mayor, I apologize in advance that this will get repeated for you at County Council. You're getting a sneak preview. So just reminding people of the strategic priorities, and I'm sure Sheila will provide you, if she has not already, with a copy of this presentation. But we always like to hearken back to the economic development strategic objectives and the overall strategy of the County of Middlesex, and sort of highlighting why we do what we do and how we go about doing that. First of all, I wanted to inform you of a project we've been working on since the beginning of the summer. So in July, we launched a business retention and expansion study, and we heard from a number of businesses throughout the county. It was quite an extensive 25 question survey. And we've created a report as a tool for benchmarking, and we're actually doing some follow-up interviews with a number of companies that requested it as well. We've created a series of infographics to kind of illustrate what we heard out of this survey. And as mentioned, we're in the midst of doing those follow-up interviews, and there'll be some further information that gets announced after that. The exciting part about doing this, of course, largely our concentration is on the companies that currently invest in the county and ensuring that they want to continue to invest. And we've heard some really, really good results about their desire to continue to do that and expand where they are. We've also gathered a number of new contacts through this process for our quarterly newsletter. We've made people aware of our business appreciation program. And we've gauged what businesses are interested in hiring co-op students and the like for upcoming project that we're working on that I'll tell you more about as well. As you know, we implemented a CIP program, a Community Improvement Plan program, which Southwest Middlesex now has an implemented program. And we're very excited as well that we've been working with Adelaide Metcalf over the course of this last few months to finalize their plan. They represent the 6th CIP that we will now have in implementation starting in 2023. So the 6th one in the county. The only communities without them now are Thames Centre and Newbury. And we're continuing to work together with your local municipality, with Sheila, on those investments that you have made into your community. And we actually provide a 50% reimbursement to the lower tier municipalities that do invest in CIP projects that support both of our strategic plans. We're always very much engaged in regional foreign direct investment and attraction of companies to Middlesex County. And so, sometimes we do this, in the background. So we just want to make sure that that it's always taking place. This is my 2nd year acting as co-chair for the Ontario Food Cluster, which is a conglomerate of 14 municipalities across Ontario that all have considerable investments in food-related businesses. And so we go all over the globe talking to companies about coming into our region. We've also been invited and joined in membership now with another regional group called the Ontario Manufacturing Communities Alliance, or short form OMCA. And so we're working with them on a variety of shows and attraction meetings as well. I just want to make the note, provincial ministries are really key advisors and partners in these regional organizations, and that's where the majority of our large scale site selection bids come from. So we get a lot of inquiries that come to our plate through these means. And we've worked with several of our local municipalities, including Southwest Middlesex, to respond to such bids, and we've had some great results. And we do have a major project that will be announced in Strathroy-Caradoc this fall as well. And so altogether, we will have done over 100 site selection meetings at 7 shows this year through these regional groups. And we meet with Canadian consulates as well in the US and other places to talk to them about exchange. And as the co-chair and also the treasurer of Ontario Food Cluster, we were successful again this year in garnering CAN export funding. So this allowed us to pay for a lot of our travel costs, our lead generation, and some training for economic development officers that will be attending trade shows throughout the year. We've also had interest from another group that you may have heard of called SOMA, Southern Ontario Marketing Alliance, which is a smaller regional group that involves groups like St. Thomas area as well as Woodstock. And they've also indicated interest in us joining them. And I'm going to have them come and present to County Council prior to the 2023 budget. All that regional work is not to say that we don't do attraction efforts for Middlesex alone. So on top of the work we do with our colleagues, we're also very successful in being able to garner grant support for our efforts here in Middlesex County. And same thing, we've been able to get money for travel expenses, lead generation, and training. And we'll be doing a minimum of 30 meetings alone just for Middlesex this year. Every day is site selection day in our office. So on top of the work that we're doing to go to foreign direct investment meetings, we're also dealing with brokers, clients, and developers on a regular basis to attract them to the lands or to place their investment interests. And so we're working directly with those municipalities that have public lands like yourselves, but also we're working with municipalities like Middlesex Centre to bring new lands on site because we are really at a shortage of publicly owned industrial lands. We also work with private land and property owners across the county to attract and place new and existing businesses there. We've just completed an ag census summary. As you know, the information that came out of the census from 2021 has slowly been creeping its way into our information and inboxes. But one of the things that we usually try to do is to put together a snapshot of agribusiness in our community because it is such a large part of our economy. So we have just finished that process. And if I'm not sure if Mayor Mayhew attended the information sessions that the Ontario Food Cluster put on, or pardon me, Ontario Federation of Agriculture put on yesterday. But if so, you would have seen this snapshot being distributed there. So we have this infographic that tells you about key things that are being grown here in Middlesex and key economic contributors with respect to agriculture. But we also have a more thorough report available on the Invest in Middlesex website as well if you're interested in more information. And if you can't find it, be sure to just let me know or Sheila know. We will make sure you get it. We have a new project out. This is a project we did together with the Federation of Agriculture here locally. And we now have crop education signs out in a number of locations across Middlesex County. This is actually a project that stemmed from a public interest from parents in our community asking us to identify things that are growing throughout our communities because of the lack of education among young people, but also many of the older population or more urban population and not knowing what crops are and what their end use would be. So we want to thank MFA for getting involved with that. We also are very heavily involved in workforce development, and I, for many years, have chaired the Middlesex Workforce Development Partnership, which is a conglomerate of education as well as employment services throughout the county. We had a successful application for third-party funding worth $50,000, and we're able to carry out a number of workforce-focused initiatives because of that through to the end of March. So we are supporting several workshops together with the Community Futures Organization, as well as other stakeholders. One of the ones you see up there is actually coming up next week. It is about the war on talent and overcoming the talent drought. As you know, we have significant gaps throughout Ontario, and I would hearken to say the world in terms of availability of workforce. And so Area Consulting is putting on this session for us at Amy's Restaurant in Strathroy. We also did a Young Entrepreneurs Business Plan contest, which awarded young people from the area ages 8 to 12, and then another group from 13 to 18, an opportunity to present a business idea and win a laptop to launch their idea. Also, with respect to workforce, I'm very excited about this new project that we're just putting into place. So we have received a grant for over $100,000. And we're going to be able to add a component to the existing Work in Middlesex platform that is going to be championing cooperative education and work integrated learning. And so we're going to be working with local employers, school boards, post-secondary institutions, and youth as a means to helping to narrow the labor gap in our county. We're going to be doing videos showcasing work integrated learning taking place across the county, and we'll have a new job board that's totally devoted to that. And we are hiring a new person that will be starting with us on October the 24th, full time until the end of December of next year. We also have a new platform going up on the on the Invest in Middlesex site. This is called GIS Planning. It's a new prospector tool. It allows site selectors to get really pertinent data about lands that are available, about demographics in our area, an automatic real estate feed, customized reports. We will be doing a tutorial for Sheila and other economic development staff across the county once it is all in place. And there is also an opportunity for our local municipalities that wish to have a similar type of platform customized to just their municipality to get a discount for the system. But I think you'll find the one that is going to be put onto the Middlesex site is going to be very adequate. And it's going to save us some money with web updates. It's going to have a new business directory and other reports. We have a number of new video projects. As many of you know, we're kind of known for doing videos throughout the year. So we've actually taken a different spin on things this year. We're doing some mini success stories with 4 different businesses, and we'll be releasing those soon through our quarterly newsletters. We're also doing a series of key sector profiles for investment attractions. So we'll have one on agribusiness, one on tourism, one on manufacturing, and one on small business. And those will start to get released next month. One of the things that I know Sheila is excited about, and we've already started working together on, is our public art Makeover Middlesex program. And so this project is again being made available by another grant that we have received, and this allows us to share the wealth. So we are providing up to $2,500 per project in direct investment in public art to be installed in communities across Middlesex County. I'm very excited to say that we have a mural project that has been brought forward by Southwest Middlesex. And Sheila, I got your email last night with the motion of council, and I can tell you that your project is approved and that we will make arrangements to contract the artist of your choosing very soon to get working on this project. We're also going to be doing some public benches or bike racks showcasing the Visit Middlesex logo throughout communities as well through this project. Other specialty projects we have going on. We are also doing some EV chargers. We've been talking to Southwest Middlesex as well as some other communities. They may be capable of doing these installations previous to the end or prior to the end of this year. So this will be a partnership whereby the county pays for those chargers and the installation, while municipalities will be arranging for the site prep and the ongoing maintenance. They will also have the opportunity, if they wish to charge for the use of these units, to be able to collect that revenue in perpetuity as well. We also have been doing a lot more of our grassroots trail signs. This is normally a purchase program whereby businesses will pay either $300 or $500 depending on the size of their sign that they wish to have, to direct people off the main tourism route to their business. And that cost is just cost recovery over a 2-year period. But because of this new grant that we have received, we're actually giving businesses the 90 by 90 centimeter size signs free for 2 years. So we've been doing this for a month or 2 now. We've already seen 10 businesses join up. We have more businesses coming, and it's also reinvigorated interest in businesses purchasing the larger sign. And you see Sammy's Alpacas, which is in Adelaide Metcalf, celebrating with the installation of their sign. We're also going to be working on rehabbing a lot more of our heritage trail signs. Southwest Middlesex actually did this by way of a tourism sponsorship grant from our office last year, but many of the other municipalities have not invested in rehabbing their signs. We'd like to see those done, so we're going to engage in doing that as well through this program. We're also doing a lot of content creation, so we're building a number more of photo assets for marketing the website purposes. Anything that we collect through Southwest Middlesex, we will allow access for your websites or other materials. We're also going to be doing a winter series tourism sector video, so that'll be fun to see happen as well. Tourism initiative sponsorship. We're all spent for this year, but Southwest Middlesex has been able to take up of this funding in the past, and I just mentioned they did their heritage trail signs last year, but Some other things we've invested in: Lucan Summerfest, Dorchester Golf and Country Club just did a summer country bash. We did a ram rodeo at Purple Hill. We've done some patio projects in Strathroy, and we expect to do this program again next year. So we thank all the partners for being involved in that. Something else that's brand new that you might want to be thinking about in your community is the Spark program. And the Spark program is a partnership between ourselves as well as Ontario Southwest, which is our regional tourism office, and Tourism Innovation Lab. And through this partnership, we are able to give away $3,000. Actually, 3 times over. We're going to give away 3 of these grants to individuals, businesses, or community groups that come forward with a new and innovative idea to spark tourism across Middlesex County. So we are currently doing information sessions on this, and then we are accepting applications until October 26th. Followed by which we'll have a little bit of a Dragon's Den motif, and 5 finalists will be invited to do a pitch session where we'll select the 3 final winners. And those winners, as I say, get a $3,000 grant, but they also receive a mentorship with a tourism leader in Canada to work with them to spark that idea. We also have been working on a project collectively with our partners in Lambton County, both in tourism and economic development, called From Our Hands to Your Table. If you haven't seen this series, you can go to handstotable.ca, and on there you'll see that we've just launched a 3rd installment of this series that really talks about the inherent relationship between a local producer of agriculture and a culinary provider. So this year we did features on Hemans and Mill Pond Tap out in Thames Centre, and Caradoc Sands and Sleer's Organic Greens in the Strathroy area. So watch for those, and there's Lambton features on there as well. We're also in the midst of updating a number of our publications. Despite COVID and all of the things that came with it, there's been a very high interest in some of the publications that we put together. So we're currently going to be updating our Grassroots tourism map. We're also updating our culinary guide on an ongoing basis. And we're just in the process of finishing our trails guide for next year as well. You can always find us advertising. Of course, we have 2 main platforms: Visit Middlesex, which is focused on tourism, and Invest, which is focused on economic development. And we have a number of advertising and marketing investments, but we always encourage you as well to link in with us either by way of the quarterly newsletter or by way of social media on either of those platforms. We're really excited this year, and the warden did briefly mention it at one of the previous meetings, but we have been awarded in the department with Hermes Awards. Hermes Awards are international marketing awards. They're not specific to economic development or tourism. This was the first year we had ever submitted for these awards, having heard about them, and we actually won awards in all 4 categories that we applied for. So that's really great recognition for Middlesex County, and most importantly, for the businesses that we have supported through COVID, through all of these advertising means. I'm also working very closely with Cindy Howard, our Director for Community Services, on our Middlesex Connects. This is our transportation pilot project that we're running until 2025. Currently, our buses run from Oxford County in through Thames Centre into the City of London. But we have received funding, and we are hiring a new special projects manager that will take over the current project, as well as working with our consultants that we have engaged in the needs assessment. We just had about 400 respondents to our survey that just closed last week. So we're really excited to see the recommendations for public transportation throughout the county that come forward from this report. As always, we're really here to help you and to work together with your staff and your councils on economic development and tourism related initiatives. So if there are things that you're thinking about, new programs or projects or things you would just like to chat about, we're always here for that. So thanks very much for your time.
Kara, thank you. We'll get our screen back here so we can ask a few questions. Thank you again, Kara. That's a big plate full of information that you have. I'm not sure how you manage to carry all those plates at the same time, but you do a very good job of it. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Committee, is there any questions that you'd like to direct to Kara or any comments? Yes, Sheila, go ahead.
Just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the committee in Southwest Middlesex for the note about the murals. That's excellent news. They'll be very happy to hear that. And I did circulate the Spark information program out to our tourism businesses. And I know of at least one that will be applying. So that's great news.
Okay.
That's awesome news. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions, committee? Kara, I don't see any hands, but just in regurgitating some of that information you provided, Southwest Middlesex would be very keen to host some of those bicycle racks if you want to put some around. We do not have any, and there's a great need in our business community for those. And we certainly are very interested in charging stations. And there's several key locations that we could host that. So we'll certainly make sure that we continue that dialogue in that respect.
Through you, Mayor, we do have an application in for one of those locations. So we'll be able to report back on that, I would say within the next week at the latest. And as for the bike racks, we're just finalizing that RFQ with the supplier. So I'm happy to hear about that, and we'll certainly be in touch.
Okay, sounds good. Last call for questions. Failing which, could I have a motion that we receive Kara's report for information? Will someone please move that? Amy, and seconded by Doug Bartlett. All in favor? Carried. And committee, for the benefit of the report to council, I think we should have a motion that the committee entertained the presentation of Michael Solomon from Glencoe Pharmacy, inquiring about his vision of a marketing program throughout the businesses of the region. Would someone like to move that? Mark McGill, seconder, please. Amy Choi. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, committee. Then that way, when the minutes of this meeting are construed, they will reflect those two presentations. Sheila, I will move on to number 5, the consent agenda. But prior to doing that, is there any remarks or any further remarks you'd like, or I'll get you on number 6 here, I guess. So we're okay. You have a report on number 6 here. So we'll look at number 5, economic development meetings of June 22nd, or 5A. Middlesex County Economic Development Roundtable 22-03. And there was an announcement we received from High Speed Internet that's in your agenda regarding AMO. May I have a motion to receive the consent agenda as presented? Councillor Cowell, seconded by Councillor McGill. Questions? All in favor? Carried. And 6, staff reports, Southwest Middlesex Economic Development Update. Please go ahead, Sheila.
Okay, everybody has a copy of the report, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the details. I'd like everybody to have a little discussion time at the end. We're at 10:44 right now, so I don't want to take up too much more time. But one thing I would like to mention is that this is potentially our last meeting as a group. This committee is set up until the end of council, and I just wanted to thank everybody for their contribution to the growth of Southwest Middlesex. And We appreciate everything you've done to help Southwest Middlesex build. We've got some interesting concepts moving forward, and happy to have everybody involved. So into the report, we have quite a few items that we've completed or in progress over the last couple of years. One of the main pieces of this is that as far as our strategic plan, we've hit on pretty much everything. We've talked about the 5 top priorities. One thing that we continue to kind of plan and work on is a tourism trail. Right now, we're very reliant on the county. They have a good package that works well, and we're hoping to encourage even more people to take part in that. So we've done a great amount of work. It is a 5-year plan. There's much more to do, and we will continue to work towards all those points that we made priorities of. So when we look at development, if we move on to development now, right now we have about 5 or more subdivision applications in the paperwork stage, and we have several site plans underway as well, and those things work together to translate into development for us. It's been a very active 2 years with those, and it's amazing to see. Like we've already had incredible growth over the last 2 years, and it appears that we will continue to grow even more. One of the things that will help us is a water and sewer capacity report that will aid in all of our development requests. Right now, the potential greenhouse operation, we're working on site plan with them, and we should have more information on that in a week or so. I actually thought we would have heard this week, but so it's in the review stage and making sure that water usage, sewer capacity, things like that are met or can be met, transportation routes, things like that. We've had our official plan meetings, and our update includes housing policy updates to include more housing options, which is a great thing as well, because we have single family residential. We don't have a lot of multi-unit areas at this point, or rentals in the area. We definitely are seeing a whole bunch of new faces on our main street of Glencoe and even throughout the community. And from what I understand, we'll have more to come. And one of the biggest things that we've been able to accomplish is we've sold quite a few portions of the land owned by Southwest Middlesex. I can't give all the details on that, but we have more than 50% at this point, either sold or under contract. And then some of our recent activities that we've been undertaking is we've recently done a large mail out of the CIP brochure promoting the program and encouraging discussion prior to submitting those applications. So that's running quite smoothly. We have a lot of interest, and applications open up again in February of next year. And if you're out and about, just remind people in the areas that we have. Been working on a welcome package for new businesses and a policy for that. And we haven't been able to really find a policy, but the county does have a program, and Kara may want to speak a little bit on this. So they have a program that we can feed into, but some of the ideas that I've come across, which I can't actually find a formal policy, but I thought I could bring to the discussion side. Many places do a ribbon cutting ceremony, which we can promote through social media, and that gives the individual free advertising for one to say that they are open. Small gifts such as treat box, cookie box, food, coffee gift, and we could include with that merchandise such as a mug, notebook to write ideas down as their business grows, anything like that. It also, the Economic Development Department at the county also has a recognition, I guess you could call it, program where if there's someone celebrating a long-term anniversary or retirement, they have a package available as well. And I don't know if Kara wants to pop in on that right now before we move forward, or.
Thanks, Sheila. I did just put a post there. There's a link directly to our website that talks about the Business Appreciation Program. And this can be applied for by any one of your committee members or members of council, if you wish, or the businesses themselves. So if they identify that they are a new business that's going to be opening, we can make arrangements to have some recognition for that. We also at the office do have one of those gigantic sets of scissors for ribbon cutting, which is a lot of fun to be able to lend out to communities and businesses if they want to do something like that. We even have a red carpet available. But we do acknowledge new businesses as well as existing ones with the anniversaries. We do certificates and we provide them with basically some swag and information about investing here in the county. And can certainly do that in combination with your local office as well, if you wish.
Thank you. So I think everyone here, I did send out an email to say that our tourism relief funding application was denied. And we'll just work on that in the future. And hopefully that comes around again. Our branding is ongoing based on our budget, and I've recently had conversations with our recreation department for banners as they move forward. They've got some that are failing a bit and they want to bring in the new ones that were shown in our branding presentation and get them started. We've also taken the branding and created a new certificate to recognize achievements, accomplishments. So we've sent out a couple to individuals and to the high school students who received their high school awards this year. Actually, that will be coming up this coming week. Website updates continue to evolve. Right now, we have a minimum of 3,000 visitors each month during the summer months, and it tends to be a little lower in the summer months. Our top searches are for elections, of course, this year, and general services, and then garbage and recycling. Normally in the winter, we'll see a little bit of a reverse where it's garbage and recycling as one of our top things. As we're all aware now, mural program has been applied through the county, and sounds like we have some funding for that, which is wonderful. And that helps us to fulfill those strategic goals of beautification. And that's not only one of our goals, it's also one of the goals of the county. We still continue to investigate partnerships where possible. And one of those, I guess, will somewhat be with Michael with the loyalty program at this point. We continue to respond to business inquiries as they come to us. These have slowed down a little bit with the change in the markets, of course, but we do continue to get questions all the time. With the discussions with Michael, and there's been some activity that's kind of leaning to the business community, maybe starting a group, and they may be interested in a BIA very soon. We've got some young, eager people who are really trying to build up a business community, and they are really all trying to work together to get back on their feet. There is an upcoming event for small business owners, and that's in November, which sounds pretty exciting. And so that's really nice to see. And there have been some discussions about a night market and holiday tour from the businesses, similar to last year's country Christmas tour, I believe it was. And then there's also been some talk about a program maybe in the spring. Across the county line shopping tour was held in Kent County, and there are some people on the outer areas of the municipality that are kind of interested in taking that on in the future for the areas that aren't really in a main shopping area. So that is the most of what our recent activities are. And unless anybody has anything to add, I think, or any questions, I think it would be great to move on to this discussion. Oh, and also last night we approved one more CIP, which was great news. So, any questions?
Thank you, Sheila. Yes, certainly. Mark, I see your hand.
Yeah, thank you, Sheila. I noticed in your slide presentation, it talked about continuing to enforce community standards through a complaint-based system. Where are we at with getting a new bylaw officer? Because right at this moment, I don't think there's anybody to, if somebody put in a complaint, is there anybody to act on that complaint?
Sheila can certainly answer that for you, Mark, but we are in negotiations with Strathroy Caradoc, and we're hoping to get some alliance for an interim period of time with them, but Sheila, certainly go on. You can add to that.
No, that's fine. I'm not sure if maybe Kendra might be a little bit better to answer that question.
All right, go ahead, Kendra.
Alan is correct. That is all the info we have right now.
The Strathroy Caradoc discussions, is that what you're referring to? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yep. That's good. Okay, Mark, I saw your hand come up again. Is there another question?
Well, yeah, because I think, well, obviously we need a bylaw enforcement officer, but I think that's important because we've done a lot to, we're helping people out, grants available for them to improve their facades. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Signage, but then at the same time, there's other cases where some places really don't look very nice, and we have to have a way of enforcing some standards.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we have to be more aggressive on that. I think it goes back to our economic development strategy that first impressions is right on the top of it, and the property standards are certainly going to convey that first impression. And I know Dennis is keen on that subject as well. Yeah, any other questions to Sheila? Okay, I don't see any. Well, thank you very much, Sheila, for that. It's a great report, particularly pages 35 and 36. I love to see those developments. I know the province is trying to encourage municipalities to speed things up, and perhaps some of those new legislative mandates that they put forth are burdensome, but we certainly look forward to the completion of those files, and look forward to seeing some buildings going up and some new owners occupying them. Okay. That's fine. Any other questions? Last call. Then I'll entertain a yes. Amy, please go ahead.
Thank you. I was wondering if we could have a discussion about, excuse me, the possibility of the night market and different ideas on how to approach that.
Okay, thank you. Amy, if you'd like to introduce the subject to us, is prospective date, how you vision it, and we'll certainly try to get some encouragement from the committee and their ideas as well. This would be the second night market. Is that correct? We had one last year. This would be the second night market, and it was extremely successful last year. You'll remember the vendors. And Amy, I'll let you take the conversation over. Tell us what has happened in the past and what you would like to see envisioned for the future.
Thank you. Yes. So last year we had our first night market. It was on the train station lawn. There was the Girl Guides were doing a campfire out back. It was pretty well attended. I think everyone enjoyed it quite a lot. This year I think we're aiming for the date November 25th. And we're hoping to have it on Main Street and having the street closed down, hopefully having a lot more vendors and making it a really beautiful night to support our local businesses. So we're still in the works of trying to figure it all out. But I think we would be open to any sort of discussion, any sort of recommendations, suggestions on how to move forward. And if we could have different clubs possibly involved and how we can support them, but also everybody's like vision for how this should run.
Thank you very much, Amy. We'll try to get you some input on your request there, some feedback on that request. Krista, please go ahead.
I'm just wondering, do we know when the Santa Claus parade is going to be?
I can tell you from a historical perspective.
November 18th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's good. Yep, that's correct. Okay. Again, Amy has put on an invitation to this committee for any of your thoughts on this. First of all, I'll start it out. Amy, I think is a fantastic idea. I think if this event is going to grow, and which I'm sure it will, you may need a larger footprint than the train station site, because even last year it was fairly intense in a very small area. So by going to Main Street, that will look after a lot of logistics and perhaps portray the event in a much larger scale and a much more effective scale. Excellent idea.
I know.
Saying, I was just thinking about you, saying just before you put your hand up, I saw you there and I thought this would be great for your business as well. Have you any comments on it?
I think the idea of putting it on Main Street would be a really great idea, and kind of inviting more vendors than what we had last year. I think last year was a great start for us for our first event. Like other towns that are a bit smaller than us, they've had quite successful in terms of like closing down their Main Street and having quite a large vendor group, and also other people who were involved in terms of like the food area. They had some little activities for geared towards kids, little kids as well. I guess we're just trying to find a way on what the next step is in regards to kind of setting everything up. And I think from discussing with Amy, we think we need a bit more people, either volunteers or council members or business owners or anybody who is really wanting to be part of it, to have people kind of set up in directing certain specific things, whether somebody who is wanting to do the social media aspect, who want to set up in regards to working with the municipality in terms of what process do we need to do in regards to setting up the Main Street or closing down Main Street. What do we need to do specifically in order to achieve that? And can we move forward in regards to promoting it on social media to invite vendors to sign up for the event? So.
Thank you, saying, the two things, the delegation of duties and the logistics are important. Krista, I see your hand. Just any comments back on saying before we forget them? Okay, your request for assistance saying hopefully won't go unanswered. Councillor Cal, please go ahead.
Thank you. Last year, we went to the Rodney Market to sort of see how it was done. And they had breweries and wineries in a licensed area. And while I'm not sure how we could accommodate that, and I wouldn't want to step on toes of some of the vendors, like we have our Let It Breathe, it might be a nice way to sort of like whether we could offer the opportunity for some of our current businesses to have like a patio. So whether Let It Breathe could have a patio, whether McKellar could have a patio on the Main Street and have an extension of their business out on the Main Street for people to come in, might lend to that whole getting folks downtown and making it sort of a Christmas party outside. I think that might be a fun component to it. Maybe even making it like an ugly sweater event kind of thing. And putting it over top. I mean, last year it was minus 10 degrees, so your ugly sweater would have to be on top of your snowsuit. But it was anything to get folks in the festive spirit and excited to get downtown and to celebrate. So I love that. I was grateful to be a part of it last year, and will be willing to help support in whatever way the group decides they want to see that support. But let me know what they all think about getting like outside. I know licensing was a bit of an issue for licensing the patio in Rodney. So it would be interesting to see if that's something we can accommodate here.
Okay, thank you. Rick, go ahead.
I hate to repeat what I said earlier, but the CCC might be helpful in this process. They traditionally close the main street for tartan days. They have the procedure in place already. I know it requires a letter to Middlesex County because we don't own the road, they do. And I think that in the old days, I think the liquor request would have to go through the municipality for that kind of stuff. But I'm sure that at the very least, whether it's a presentation or a request, that the municipality support that idea ahead of time, so that if it's needed, it's already in place.
Okay, thank you. Yep. That too, as I mentioned earlier, that they represent many organizations, and it's always good to involve them in the equation in any of our economic initiatives. It's always a good idea to bring CCC into it. Yes, Sang, go ahead, please.
Like what we're trying to do with the night market is not so much to not include anything, not include other forms of community events. Like we do want CCC to be part of it, but I guess what we're trying to do is to have different groups of people or different business people or individuals who want to be part of the event to we're trying to set up a committee of people to do certain things. So that way, if somebody's in charge of vendors, in charge of closing down the, getting the information or the process to close down the road, it'd be great to set up those kind of events so that next year when we try to do it again, we have a set of groups or people to do those individual things or those specific things so that we can run it smoothly more every year. Like this is all a learning process for me. I can't say for everybody else, but for myself, this is a huge learning process, and it would be great to have everybody involved who wants to be involved. We're not like we want to include as much of the community as we can, but we're also trying to set up a committee of either groups, clubs, individuals, so that we can try to run it more smoothly from a year-to-year basis. So
It is. Yeah.
Sorry. And I know like the CCC has done a lot of work in regards to tartan days, to vendors, to closing down the street. We just don't want it to fall on just that one group to do all the work. So we're just wanting to be a part of it as well.
Yep. Rick, you have a follow-up? Go ahead.
I was thinking more something along the line of a request for assistance.
Well,
because it might handle some of that. And that way the control would still be where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
With you guys.
Yep. No, I don't think Rick's intention was to dump it all on CCC. It's just that just as we invite other partners in the commercial area, we extend invitations to clubs, as you mentioned, and organizations and fraternities. We can extend that invitation to CCC as well. But an excellent question. Yes, Councillor Bartlett, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Amy, you had mentioned getting clubs and organizations involved. Were you thinking of having them there to promote themselves or having them there to help with the event, or both?
Both would be great.
Yep. I think
Okay.
by helping, you're promoting yourself inadvertently.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Sheila, I see your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can definitely send Sang the contact at the county for closing the road. It's just a matter of sending a letter or an email into Chris Traney at the county to provide your plans for the event. And I would include, if you are going to go into the direction of having patios such as were suggested, that you include that information as well. That will be key to them. Another thing, as far as partnerships, I think it is a great opportunity for everyone to kind of partner together, especially if you can get a service club to come and help with it. Last year, we helped a bit with the advertising as far as the municipal portion, and we didn't get too involved with the night market portion because that was a little bit different. It was more of a people selling products for profit kind of thing. But we can definitely help to share the social media posts that are created and get the word out. We can also send it out to our group of our email group that we have for the businesses. So if we can help in that way, that's great. But yes, I can definitely give you Chris Traney's information for closing the road.
Okay. And of course, there's always timelines involved in that. So you want to make sure that you're earlier as opposed to later.
Absolutely.
Yep. Sang, please go ahead. Yep,
Thank
go ahead.
you. So can we, as an individual or business, go ahead and start promoting the event?
I think it would be nice if there was some organizational structure, and there may be two ways to do it. Of course, saying CCC, as has been previously said, could be one of the communication links. Amy may want to speak to this. And Sheila, I don't think it should wear the hat as a municipal event. It would have to be a business community event, and that certainly could be done through CCC. And not to say it couldn't be done even from the economic development standpoint. As a committee, we would have to have the endorsement of council, of course, for it. But as a committee, as a member of this committee, saying you could go under that banner with the approval of council that we proceed with this market. Amy, have you anything to add to that?
No, not really. I think the more the better for having involvement from individuals, businesses, and different service clubs. I think now that we kind of have a view of what everyone's thinking, that we can move faster, move forward in getting it started.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Sheila, go ahead.
So basically, you just want to find out at this point who might be interested in taking part. That's what you want to start sending out. I don't see anything wrong with proceeding with that. You might just want to put in the caution that you have to get certain approvals and things to make it happen. But to build interest, I think I would start myself. I would start right away.
Okay. Yes, Sang, please go ahead again. No problem.
Yeah, I think if we are going to try for the November 25th date, I think in regards to acquiring interest or vendors, I think we're going to, like Sheila said, we're going to have to start trying to promote our interest of who might be interested. And I know Christina from CB Creative has a list of some vendors that she's dealt with in the past for the Arts in the Park. So maybe we can reach out to Christina in regards to finding some help and getting a list, or if she would be able to help from the CPC point of view in just assisting with the vendor list.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Krista, go ahead.
Thank you. I would tentatively, next steps, take the time to book the, or reach out to the municipality and book the train station as a backup plan and send that email out to Chris Straney right away for two reasons. If you have any type of like contingency plan for some reason the main street doesn't happen, I'm not saying it won't, it gives you the backup location of the train station. And it prevents someone else from potentially booking it for a personal function, a shower, anything like that, which we've seen happen with tartan days and things like that. And then take that next step of reaching out to Chris Straney and starting the process. If it becomes one of those things where, okay, this year we can't have a beer tent because, or a patio because the county won't allow it, then it becomes something you can build on next year. But if you're getting out feelers, I totally understand getting vendors out. There is a lot of competition. These night markets are becoming more and more popular, and the more notice you can give to them, the better vendors you'll get. So those would potentially be some of those next steps, whether you're booking it and just sort of saying, hey, put a pin in this as a backup plan. It saves your space. And maybe the CCC books it because then you don't have to worry about the insurance side of things, and you can figure out whether this ends up being an economic development committee thing and getting council's approval, or whether it ends up being a CCC thing. At least the building is booked. We can argue about who booked it, who put the event on after some of those important things are taken care of.
Thank you. Yeah, Rick, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that the Economic Development Committee send a letter, whatever, to council asking for their support in this whole process, and including the closing of the main street, including the tables out front and that kind of stuff, so that we're not halfway through this and we've run out of time. I'd rather ask for, we're having an economic meeting today, we might not have another one, and I just think it would be following Krista's line there, dotting the I's so that the support is here. We've asked for, and then we've asked for council support. It's in place if we need it. So I'll make that motion.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to call for a seconder to that soon, but I think a recommendation from this committee to advise council that the economic committee endorse the Christmas market. The proposed date is November 25th. That they are requesting that the train station be booked for that particular date, and that the main street of Glencoe, the applications be made to the county that they be closed, and that the Economic Development Committee requests their support behind the project and their assistance with promotion as well in their various digital channels. Okay, is there a seconder for that? Is there a seconder for that? Okay, Mark McGill. Any questions? Just any questions? Rick, go ahead.
Only that I think that you need to include the liquor part of it in that recommendation, in case it's needed later, Alan. So.
Okay, I think it's dangerous, but if that's your wish, Mark.
It's a recommendation, Alan, so that if,
I wouldn't want to see it denied because of that. But Mark, you seconded that motion. You have to be in agreement of that.
You know, I think this is kind of a family-friendly event. It's a night market shopping experience. I don't think we need to have a liquor license myself.
Okay, all right. But perhaps that could be discussed by the committee at present. The amendment to your motion has not been agreed upon by the seconder. Councillor Cal, go ahead.
Just as a comment, is that when we planned this market last year, we specifically did not plan it for the same night as the Santa Claus parade because of all of the families that would be coming out. We wanted to focus on this being a pleasant shopping experience to encourage, and this is a perspective of my own. When I have my children running around underneath of me, sometimes it can be more challenging to spend time with the vendors and to spend money with them. Having said that, at the Rodney event, we had our children. It didn't mean we drank very much. We had one drink and then we returned to the shopping. But I can appreciate that the alcohol is on the main street is not necessarily something we want. It was just the idea of another component to it to maybe be added. But Sheila had a good, had her hand up, and I suspect wanted to speak to it a little bit.
Okay, go ahead, Sheila. And Rick, I see your hand out as well. I'll get to you, but Sheila first.
It's possible that there's not time to get to AGCO at this point. They're the Alcohol and Gaming Commission. It's pretty late. I think there's so many days that you have to do that, but I just want to caution that there may be things that we can't support in particular, and we need to have that discussion with our administration. So I think we can't be completely specific in that motion, just to, you know, if we can endorse and have that discussion and then have it proceed to council, I think is a good way to proceed with this, rather than put everybody in an awkward position, I guess.
That was my, yeah. And I see the hand. I will, yeah. That's why I was cautionary on this alcohol. I would not want to see this, you know, Amy is a good leader on this. I would not like to see this dragged down by one component of the request. I'm sure council are going to certainly endorse the date, November 25th. They're going to endorse the closing of the street. They're going to endorse the booking of the train station. And they're certainly going to endorse helping and advertising as any way as possible. But I know that as soon as you bring alcohol into the equation, I'd rather see that come forward separately and not part of this request to council, because I think it was really slow it down. Your last question, Rick, go ahead.
It's not really a question. I don't have a problem at all with council working with the recommendation. I just think that if the request, as Sheila said, was staff and the whole works, if it can work, having it all come to council at the same time, but unless we ask for something, they can't work on it. That's kind of what I was thinking.
All right. Well, we have a motion on the floor as it's been. It has been seconded. Sheila, go ahead.
Okay. Kendra's in another meeting right now and has asked me to get a better read on the motion that is on the floor. So can we run through that again, and I'll pass that on to Kendra, who's doing the minutes.
I'm here now. Sorry, I'm just trying to do two at once. So I have the motion, but Alan and Rick, because Rick moved it, I would like it repeated so that I get it correctly.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
My motion is that, as Mayor Allen said, that this committee recommend to council that we hold a night market on November the 25th, and that in the meantime, staff research exactly what we can do, but that at that next council meeting, we should know that, and they can deal with whatever the might be. And that's it.
What about booking the train station for that night and that application to close the street? The two pretty important components of this, are they not?
Well, that was a given, Alan.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're going to put a recommendation before council, sometimes it's good to have that wording in there, but it's your motion. You make it. I'll call it.
Just have one question, Mayor Allen.
Yes, go ahead, Kendra.
So I just want to note that we can't guarantee the closure of the road, obviously, because it's through Chris Trainey, but I can put it in the motion.
Yeah, I said the application. Yeah, Kendra, the application. I know we can't close the road. But anyway, I don't want to make Rick's motions. The chair is not favorable for the chair to intervene on that, but I just want to make sure that you're going to get, that the communication goes to council with all the entities involved. Mark, are you satisfied with this as it stands? Okay. I'll call the question, and just before I do, I think, Sheila, it's, the vendors, and Amy, I think, will agree that what draws the people are those vendors. That it just, if you have a good presentation of vendors, it just sucks people in, and that's how you get four figures into your downtown. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. And what's extremely important is that database of vendors. Now, Chrissy has a start on that, a very good start, and I think it was pioneered by Marg McEachran. But Sheila, that's something that would be extremely valuable as a marketing tool for Southwest Middlesex if we had a database of vendors. And I often find that when you go to other markets, if you see a good vendor, ask for their card, because then you can bring it back and you can slide it in our database. And I'll tell you, databases are priceless. If you have a good database of vendors and you can build upon that, that's what is really going to guarantee a great Christmas market, the number and quality of the vendors. Last call for question. All in favor of the recommendation going before council? Carried. Amy, thank you very much for bringing that to the floor. I appreciate that very much. And so will the business community as well. And saying thank you very much for your engagement on that. It's really appreciated as well. Okay, so that was new business. Now that item came under new business. Any other new business? Seeing none. Any announcements? Future meetings. We're not projecting any at this stage of the game. And again, I'd like to reiterate Sheila's comments. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this committee. I'd also like to thank both staff on the Southwest Middlesex and the county level as well. Going forward, I'm sure there's improvements that we can make in this committee. I would like to see more engagement. It has been very much administrative and up reporting and county reporting. And in the future, I hope that we can engage as members more actively in conversation. And again, I want to thank you very much. And I hope we see some of these faces back on future economic development committees. Without any further ado, I'll adjourn the meeting at 11:26. And thank you, Sheila.